Welcome back everybody, I'm Flightlessbird, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial video on how to do sticky grenades in Star Wars Battlefront 1. Now I'm going to be covering where the best place to do sticky grenades is, when the best time to do sticky grenades is, how to do sticky grenades, and what the best methods of countering sticky grenades are. So to begin with, you may be wondering what a sticky grenade is. Well, a sticky grenade is when you throw a grenade and it sticks to a surface, and therefore goes off much faster than it otherwise would. So here's a quick example of a sticky grenade. As you can see, it went off very quickly, whereas if I throw it and it rolls, then it will go off much slower. So I'm going to break it down into 4 different categories of grenades. Or sticky grenades. The first category of sticky grenades I'm going to cover is the simple floor grenade. I'm just going to call it floor grenade. And this is simply when you aim down at the floor and then throw a grenade so it sticks. And you can do this on quite a lot of surfaces, like you can do it in here and on here. There's quite a few in the halls around Cloud City. There's quite a lot of surfaces you can do them on. Although you can't do them on the central bit here. You can do them like on the sides. Now, floor grenades are the most simple way of using sticky grenades, and they're quite useful for catching enemies off guard. Obviously, if you're in a close quarters situation, say you're like over here, and an opponent comes in, then sticky grenade would be quite effective, or a floor sticky grenade would be quite effective at taking them out. The second category of sticky grenades I'm going to cover is the ceiling grenade. Obviously, as opposed to aiming all the way down, you aim all the way up and throw a grenade at the ceiling as opposed to the floor. Now obviously you can only do this if there's a ceiling above you, and it's quite good with low ceilings like this, because then it can hit the opponent. Also, on these ceilings here, it's not too bad, because if your opponent jumps, then it'll catch them. Even if they don't jump, this is close enough to deal damage, if not kill them. And you can also do that. You can also do this in the command post buildings as well. Now, a ceiling grenade is, in some ways, more effective than a floor grenade in that it's less likely your opponent will be able to jump away from it. In fact, it's almost impossible, may even be impossible, in fact, if you place it correctly for your opponent to escape from it by jumping. Whereas if you floor grenade, sorry, you can jump away from without too much difficulty. The disadvantage, however, of ceiling grenades is that you can roll away from them quite easily, and also, if you're crouched, then you won't take as much damage in like higher ceiling areas like this. I can crouch, and I wouldn't take as much damage. At least I don't think I would. So yeah, ceiling grenades are the second easiest type of grenade, and well, second most simple, I guess, type of grenade, sticky grenade to use. Now, the third category of sticky grenade is, I'm going to say, bouncing off the ceiling, so kind of like a bounce grenade. So, there's an example of bouncing off the building. You can do it like in here. Now, the obvious advantage of doing sticky grenades in this manner is that you don't have to be right next to your target to take them out. If, let's say, an enemy was standing here, then, in fact, I can replicate an enemy with a recon droid. If I had a recon droid out there, I can't shoot him very easily, but if I throw a grenade out there, then I don't even have to get into his line of fire, and I can take him out quite easily. Also, if I'm fighting an opponent over here, they're being careful to stay out of my range so they don't make themselves vulnerable to a ceiling or floor grenade. So instead, I can just bounce a grenade across like that and take them out. So bouncing grenades can be extremely effective, and you really have to keep an eye out to dodge them. Now, the last category of grenades I'm going to be covering is also bouncing grenades, but this time you're uh, throwing it further, and you're not immediately bouncing it off the ceiling. You're bouncing it off like a surface or a wall usually. An example is like this. That's also quite an effective place to do it. So you can just bounce off. That didn't really work. I think you have to be back here for that one to work. But they have a much further distance than obviously a normal bounce grenade. And there's a few places you can do them, which is quite nice. And it would take out enemies which are like hiding behind these walls here quite effectively. Which is good because you don't have to like get into their line of fire or anything. And another way you can use is one up here. And that's put sticky grenades over there. So obviously this is effective in some places for catching opponents off guard. You kind of have to predict the opponent's movement a little bit because it takes a lot more time for the grenade to travel over there. If an opponent saw my grenade, like just as I threw it, they had quite a bit of time to move out of the way. Likewise, if an opponent saw me throw a grenade up there, they would have got a long time to watch the grenade if they were looking out for it. But they are still very effective at catching enemies off guard and can cover long distances. Now, floor grenades are generally most effective in command posts and confined areas. Especially if you can get grenades like around about there. If your enemies around about on this side, then they have no way to escape. I guess they could kind of roll around. They could kind of roll around this side, but still, it's quite difficult to escape. So that's probably one of the most effective areas of floor grenades. Right, now I'm just going to show a few good grenade or sticky grenade locations on the map. Obviously, I've already shown a few. But, I'll show some on Cloud City and Mos Eisley. Now, one of the most effective places to do ceiling grenades is behind this corner here. You simply wait for, or you can go in third person view to see around the corner. Simply wait for an opponent to go past, and then you can just chuck a grenade up like that, and it's very difficult to escape. It's very effective. You can throw sticky grenades up onto platforms and stuff, which are like a while away from you, because as the grenade comes down, it's at the angle of it will be so steep that they'll actually become sticky grenades. So, example, if they actually get, there they go, where did that go? Example being like that. It'll be a sticky grenade instantly. It's quite effective for taking out enemies which are hiding up here on this platform. Another good ceiling grenade location is this building here. We can just use ceiling grenades quite effectively there, which doesn't work when you try and do floor grenades, so it's obviously the most effective way of taking out enemies around here. Mos Eisley doesn't have particularly many sticky grenade locations, but one particularly notable one is you can throw sticky grenades around the rim of these areas. There's also quite a few sticky grenade patches on Camino, like all this area you can do sticky grenades on, which is quite cool. You can't do it on the ramps, but I believe you can do it on this ramp. Yeah, you can currently do it on ramps which are angled, of course, because it requires flat area to work, and of course as Jetpack Trooper you can fly above and spam grenades down and stuff like that. So yeah. Moving now to Rimvar Citadel. All of this area here, like this terrain here, you can throw sticky grenades on. You can't do it on this terrain here though, unfortunately, but all that area over there, all this, you can do floor grenades here as well, or you can bounce grenades off like this, which is quite good if you're down here and you want to try and take out enemies up there. You can also do sticky grenades around the crypt kind of area, like this. One important bit on sticky grenades I haven't really mentioned so far is that Jetpack Trooper and Dark Trooper can take advantage of quite sticky grenade patches quite well. You can kind of you can throw sticky grenades while jetting. It's quite cool. Which means you can take out enemies quite a long distance from where you are. Do like that. On Cloud City, you can also do sticky grenades from on top of buildings, which can be quite effective at taking out enemies down below. Here are a few, I'm just going to show a few of these locations. Yeah, I always get taken out from grenades from this location. Spam down like this. On Cloud City, another place you can use for spamming grenades is jet. It's like just going up like that, and you can kind of like do hit and run attacks by chucking a grenade there, and then well, coming back down to avoid enemy fire. And you can do that in quite a few different locations. Now that I've shown quite a few good sticky grenade locations, I'm gonna show a few methods of how to counter them. Now, the first and most obvious way is simply to stay away from locations where you can get sticky grenades. So, like on the floor here, nothing's I won't be vulnerable to sticky grenades. Same here. Sticky grenades don't work here. Obviously, this method doesn't always work because you have to travel in locations where sticky grenades work. So, when you have to travel in locations where, like here, where sticky grenades are possible, particularly from like Dark Trooper or anything, it's a good idea to kind of keep an eye out on each side just to check if like Dark Trooper all around. And also, don't jump or roll too much. I mean, you can do it a little bit, but it's kind of like committing yourself to that movement, which can make you more vulnerable to sticky grenades. So if you still have your jump left or whatever, as soon as you see a Dark Trooper come up, you can just jump to avoid the sticky grenade. As long as you react fast enough, you'll be able to avoid it. Attacking in through the hallway here, try and avoid staying too close to the edges here so you can't get sticky grenades bounced off the sides and into here to take you out. So kind of staying around this sort of area. I mean, you also want to kind of stay out of the line of sight from there, so staying around this sort of area, and around the back here is quite good for making yourself less vulnerable overall, really. Also, if you're coming out to attack this area, try not to get stuck behind here as much as you can. You want to stay mobile. If anything, you want to kind of do the window jump. You can just do the window jump through here to try and avoid them. Especially take people off guard if they're like focusing on trying to do grenades over like this. They'll be put off guard by an opponent coming around behind them, taking them out. Don't be prepared for don't be prepared and have like a ground grenade here or anything, and you can do like a ground grenade yourself or a ceiling grenade or anything. Obviously, as I showed before, you can lob grenades around this corner, take out anyone hiding behind here. If someone tries to ceiling grenade you in here, then the best way to avoid that is simply to roll away. Rolling is most effective because it makes you lower as well. Don't try and jump because then you're like increasing your height at the same time and you'll be taken out by the grenade. The generally best method and easiest method to avoid getting hit by sticky grenades is simply to keep a good distance between yourself and your opponent. If you're not planning on going for sticky grenades yourself, or you have no grenades left, or you're like a pilot or something, then there's no reason to close the distance too much. So just stay around like this side, say if this recon drone was the enemy. I wouldn't want to go over that side. Obviously, you can still be targeted by bouncing grenades off the roof, but you'll have a bit more time to react to that, so you can always roll or jump out of the way of those before they actually do too much damage. In general, the best way to get away from floor grenades is by jumping away from them, because you're putting a bit of distance between you and your the grenade simply by jumping into the air. Whereas rolling, you're still on the ground, so even though you've probably travelled the same distance, you're still closer to it because you're still on the ground. Sometimes it can be extremely difficult to get past an area where your opponent can throw down sticky grenades, so if an enemy was up here, they could just spam sticky grenades down here. The best method is simply to try and take them out as best you can before they engage you. You can also like lob grenades up here, and they stick to that surface as well. So there'll be sticky grenades up there, might catch them out. If you really need to get past, then either jump down the side, or you can try and go along the edge here. You can still be caught by a sticky grenade, unfortunately, but at least you're putting a little bit of distance between you and the obvious places to put grenades. I guess you can even try jumping out of it, like jumping out like this a bit. Well, that is kind of difficult to be honest. And then probably take a bit less damage from the grenade. I just got back on it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time. Bye. And also, you can do sticky grenades in the cantina as well, I believe. Not there though, apparently. Oh, you can do it on the... Nope. Can you do it on the... Oh. Ooh, oh. Maybe I was wrong. I'm gonna have to edit that out. Oops. Maybe you can do it on the tables. It'd be cool if you can do it on the tables. Can you do it on the tables? No. Ah.